Billy, welcome to the podcast today, brother. I wonder if you're a burger man.
Yep.
Okay, I am too. I love burgers. And I've recently been turned on to this idea of what there's this dude named the Burger Scholar, George Moats, what he calls primary source burgers. So I remember back into the 1980s, my grandfather, he used to make the most amazing smash burgers. Fresh, crispy, lacy edges, super flat, and they were delicious. And then I remember like my dad used to take me to what he called the 8th Street Hamburger Inn. And they made burgers that were so delicious, I didn't know something could taste that good. But I grew up, other than that, going to all the fast food chains, right? And honestly, they kind of suck. Like they're not ever fresh, you know, the worker there doesn't care, whatever. And there's this guy named George Moats. They call him the Burger Scholar. He has a show on YouTube. He's written a couple books, and he had just opened up a restaurant. Everything I'm about to say, by the way, comes from him. I've not done all this research on my own. He goes around the country and discovers burger joints like the 8th Street Hamburger Inn and gets back to like what makes burgers good. And he kind of started from a place of like, the burger gets no respect anymore, you know? But it truly is like an American invention. And people have been eating burgers for over 100 years. So there's this burger belt he calls going from Texas all the way up to the top of the country, in the middle of the country. And the buckle of that would be Oklahoma. And so we're going to try a burger from Oklahoma, a little town during the Great Depression, 1920s. Times are hard. A guy got the idea of doing an extension of his burger meat by adding a bunch of onions to it. Because even in hard times, onions are like, you know, plentiful and cheap. So he would extend his burger supply by adding all these onions. So the thing is it turned out they were really tasty the way he did them. And that kind of spread across Oklahoma. And one thing I've learned is, you know, when you eat a burger, Billy, it's like, okay, I want to run it through the garden, tomato, lettuce, whatever you want to put on a burger, you typically do, right? Like people like ketchup or whatever. We're going to commit for the next few weeks. We're just going to do this burger as it's supposed to be. Like it, love it, hate it. We're going to eat the historical burger because George Moats just kind of turned me on to that. And back in the 1920s, ketchup didn't exist yet. Really, the original condiment was onion and actually mustard as well. But so today we're going to eat an Oklahoma fried onion burger. And I'll explain to you what that is. So I've got here a little ball of beef, like maybe 3-ounce ball of beef. Not super big because they're going to be a double. They'll be really flat. And I'm going to take this super thin sliced onion, like paper thin, like you can see through it. And I'm actually going to smash that into the burger really flat. I'm going to do the other one here too. You kind of have to use a spatula like this that's really heavy and that you can smash it down with without it bending. What's happening is a couple things. I mean, I always loved a crispy, lacy edge burger, but there's actually kind of some science behind it too. So you get this thing called a Maillard reaction. There's this French dude who discovered, his name is Maillard, that when you toast something or burn it a little bit, yes, it changes the texture, obviously, right? But you're also creating new compounds, like there's proteins and things that are breaking down. That's why you're actually creating new flavors. It's like if you eat a piece of toast, right? Toast has actually got a more complex flavor than bread. It actually changes the flavor and the texture. So these burgers being smashed down really thin, you're going to get these really kind of crispy layers to the burger on the outside that make it taste a little more complex. But really, I think in the 20s, it's like, we're just using a small ball of meat because that's all we can afford. And, you know, we're going to make it go further. But it just ended up being tasty. So some of these onions are kind of on the grill, and some of them are actually smashed into the burger itself. That's intentional, because you'll get that complex Some of them are more soft, some of them are super crispy,
Mm.
some of them are kind of caramelized, some are not. And that all kind of adds to the complexity of the burger. So it's about time to flip. We got the juices coming up on top here. And you can kind of tell already, like on this burger, you're getting kind of a lacy, crispy edge. So we'll flip here in a second. And then when you flip the burgers, the onions that are on top, they don't burn because the juices from the burger kind of keep it from burning. So you can actually really cook these down. It was a pretty big ball of onions, but actually it's gonna not be that much by the time we... So I'm like literally gonna scrape this burger off. Look at that. Nice, crispy, lacy edge. And on the flip, we're gonna do the cheese. You know what kind of cheese this is? It's American cheese. I love cheddar and everything, but what this burger scholar says, you've got to use American. It's like literally the only cheese that was designed to melt, you know? And it really is different, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and season a little bit too here with salt and pepper. I had a little bit of seasoned salt on it before I started cooking it. And then I love a toasted bun, but what you do in this style is you actually steam the bun by just laying it on there. So you're gonna get that burger steam coming up through that bun, make it nice and soft. Here's your plate. The only condiment's going to be a couple pickles on the side, all right? So we're going to do a little trick called pinch and pull. Boom. There is your Oklahoma fried onion burger. Thank you. Oh my, really?
That's delicious.
There we go. Thanks, sir. All right, well. Nothing left to do now but enjoy.
Maybe put the pickle on top of it.
Whatever you want, brother.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.